We just have an insane and ridiculous and candidly unfair amount of fun working together and making these movies. So when the prospect of another one came up, it was just, if the script is there, if the story feels legit, hell yes, let's absolutely do this. I realized that it's just as important to find the people that you really enjoy working with and that make your day-to-day experience a positive and exciting and fun experience. And that's what we have. That's what we all found, and I think that's why it was so easy to pull the trigger on number 3 for everyone. That said, we're also people who take this craft very seriously and wanted to make sure that creatively it was in the right place and the right thing to do creatively before we jumped on. But you know, the script was there, and Todd is just he's our captain. You know, we just follow him into battle, and he's a hell of a captain. In 3, we have this kind of wonderful new story that pulls all this seemingly random information and circumstance from 1 and 2 and builds this really cool new narrative area that we're in for 3. And I think that's really cool. We start with Married Stu in Hangover 3. And Married Stu is a little cooler than, I think, Stu from 1 and 2. His wife is clearly a kind of beautiful, sophisticated woman who has kind of upped his game a little bit. He's a little more fashionable. He's got a better style to him. You know, the things that typically happen to schlubs who marry better women than they are. Alan's in a little bit of trouble, and the guys need to help him out. And what starts out as a fairly kind of magnanimous gesture just snowballs into utter chaos and hell. Much more so than 1 or 2, if that's possible. I mean, look, I've been a part of this thing from day one. I'm also a fan of this thing. I love the stories and I love these characters, and I was just excited to read Hangover 3, as hopefully fans will be to watch it. And I had that same experience of like turning pages like, no way, are you kidding me? Where did that come from? And I'm really thrilled at some of the exciting things that got injected. What's really cool about Todd is that if something's not working and if something's not awesome, we will stop. And it doesn't matter how big the production is that day, how many moving parts there are, how many background extras, cars, whatever. He'll stop and we'll go off and we'll work on it. And we'll just work on the lines and we'll make sure it's there and we'll get there. And now, you know, 4 years in, now that we're shooting Hangover 3, we all know each other's strengths and we know how each other thinks and how each other talks and our cadences. And we can pitch lines for each other and we can come up with lines. I can come up with a line for Alan, Bradley can come up with a line for me, and there's no pride. There's no room for it. Everybody's just sort of open to a real collaborative machine, and Todd, to his credit, really facilitates that. And what I really admire about Todd is that he won't move on unless it's awesome. Like we won't shoot something. Well, he'll cut, like we'll stop a scene and schedule it for another day, which we've done a handful of times in a major production. It's a big deal because he wants to get it right. And that makes us all feel so much more comfortable and excited. Like we know we're gonna put the work in to get it right. and it's demanding, but incredibly gratifying and a hell of a lot of fun.